Neo and Jiho Part 5 here. Shout out to Lydia Dumas from Georgia, USA, and Nicolette Johnson from Canada. Also, a warm welcome to all the new folks joining us from TikTok. Glad to have you here. By the way, where are you tuning in from? When Insu arrived, it was with his usual energy. The tall, well-dressed man in a sharp jacket and warm smile strode through the entryway with an easy familiarity. Jiho met him near the front door. "You look exhausted," Jiho said. "I just got off a 10-hour flight, of course I do, but I couldn't miss this," Insu replied, clapping him on the back. "So where is she?" "She's upstairs. She'll be down soon." Minutes later, Neo descended the stairs slowly, modest and graceful. Her hair had been gently restyled, braided into a low crown with soft waves falling over her shoulder. She looked calm, but her fingers were interlocked in a quiet kind of discipline. Insu rose from the couch as Jiho introduced them. "Neo, this is Insu, my closest friend." "Pleasure to meet you," she said with a small nod. "The pleasure is mine," Insu replied, bowing lightly in return. "You look very elegant this evening." Neo gave a gracious smile. "Thank you." As they sat down, Jiho brought coffee from the kitchen. The atmosphere was light. Insu asked Neo about Africa, what part she was from, how the cities differed, and what she loved most about home. His tone was respectful, curious, and never invasive. "Botswana," she said. "It's calm, quiet, very different from here." "And your work?" "I studied industrial design, but I worked in administration. It's a long story," she said with a gentle shrug. Insu chuckled. "Isn't it always?" They laughed together softly. Jiho watched the ease in her posture, the way she spoke without fear or embellishment. She was herself, and she carried herself with grace. Eventually, Neo stood to help clear the coffee cups, insisting politely before Jiho could object. When she stepped out of the room, Insu leaned in toward Jiho with a low whistle. "You weren't exaggerating. She's stunning, composed, and the way she speaks, it's like she knows herself." Jiho tried not to smile too much. "We've only known each other a few days." "Doesn't matter. I've never seen you this clear-headed around anyone. You look grounded." Jiho hesitated, then finally said, "I feel like I'm seeing something rare." Insu nodded. "She's not like anyone we grew up around." "No," Jiho exhaled quietly. "I didn't plan any of this." "But some things don't need planning," Insu replied. Jiho looked toward the hallway, where Neo's silhouette appeared again for a moment, framed in warm light. And in that silent second, the truth settled like a whisper. He didn't plan this, but it was happening. After Insu had left, a quiet settled over the house, not empty, but full of something more tender. Neo stepped out onto the terrace slowly, barefoot, arms crossed gently over herself. She hadn't expected Jiho to still be there, but she found him leaning quietly on the stone railing, watching the sky. He looked peaceful in a way that made her pause. He turned when he heard her footsteps and offered her a soft smile. "You came." Neo smiled in return. "I wasn't sure if I'd find you here." He tilted his head a little. "I'm glad you did." She joined him at the railing, leaving a respectful space between them. The city in the distance shimmered quietly. Somewhere far off, a dog barked once. Then silence returned. "I've been thinking," Jiho said after a pause. "I'd like to get to know you, if you don't mind." Neo looked over at him, surprised by his honesty, but not in a bad way. "I'd like that too," she said simply. He gave a small smile, then added, "What's your favorite food?" Neo let out a gentle laugh. "That's an important first question." "Very important," he said, serious, but with a glimmer of playfulness. "You can tell a lot about a person by how they answer." She looked up, thinking. I love anything with peanut sauce, and beef stew, slow-cooked with herbs." Jiho smiled. "You sound like someone who actually enjoys cooking." "I do," she nodded. "It reminds me of home. And when I cook for others, it feels like love." His gaze softened. "That's beautiful." Neo looked at him curiously. "What about you?" I'm terrible at cooking, he admitted. But I love fresh-baked bread. That smell, warm, comforting, always reminds me of my grandmother. She chuckled. Then I'll bake bread one day, and you can just take credit for it. He laughed, and the sound was like something brushing gently against her skin. Deal. He leaned slightly toward her now, not intentionally, just drawn by the ease in their talk. What do you enjoy doing? Outside of surviving strange countries and taming arrogant men like me? Neo laughed softly. I like visiting orphanages, she said. It sounds odd maybe, but I love children. I used to volunteer at home sometimes, just to help read stories or listen. Jiho didn't reply immediately. He just looked at her with something quiet and reverent in his expression. That explains the way you speak, he said. What do you mean? You listen with your eyes, he replied. Neo blushed slightly. You're observant. I run companies, he said. But it's rare I meet people who make me pause. They let the silence rest between them again. Then he asked gently, in a relationship, what do you value most? Neo answered without thinking. Honesty, safety, he nodded, thoughtful. Me too. I value peace. Someone who brings peace, not noise. Neo looked at him. You've had noise? He smiled faintly. Enough to recognize peace when it walks in barefoot onto a terrace. Neo gave a soft laugh. That was smooth. I've been saving that one, he grinned. She shook her head playfully. It's working. Jiho's heart thudded just once, but deeply. After a moment, he stepped back and said, Wait here. Neo watched him disappear through the glass doors and into the hallway. A minute passed, then 2. She stayed still, breathing slowly. Something about this night felt unreal, too calm, too gentle. Jiho returned with a soft brown envelope in his hand. He offered it to her, eyes steady. Neo took it, eyebrows furrowing. She opened it slowly and gasped. My passport, she whispered. And the visa? He nodded. I had it extended. It's all cleared. You won't have any issues now. You're safe. Neo's hand rose to her chest. Her voice was small. You did this for me? Yes, Jiho said quietly. It was the least I could do. She shook her head, tears beginning to well. Jiho, I don't even know what to say. You saved me from something I can't even explain. He looked at her, more tender now. You don't know how you're saving me, too. Neo paused, confused. Me? Jiho hesitated. It's hard to explain, but for a long time I've been surrounded by people yet still felt alone, empty. She didn't press, but her gaze stayed on him. He looked away for a second, then back. You don't have to understand it all now. Just know that I'm thankful. Neo clutched the envelope close. Thank you, from all of me. They stood quietly again, the soft wind grazing their skin. He spoke again, this time even softer. Are you ready for tomorrow? I think so, she said. The stylist brought a dress that felt like me. Simple, maybe too simple. It's perfect then, Jiho replied. I'm not going to see fabric tomorrow. I'm going to see you. Her breath caught. Then he added gently, Let's just show up. Nothing else matters. Neo smiled. Okay. They didn't say goodnight right away. They stood a little longer, side by side, each heartbeat speaking louder than words. Eventually, Jiho looked at her with softness in his eyes. Sleep well, Neo. You too, Jiho. And with that, they parted. Two hearts quietly finding something they never expected on a quiet night under stars, neither of them remembered wishing on. Neo walked slowly into her room, still holding the envelope in both hands, as if it were a gift from another world. The room was dim, calm, but her heart was alight. Her fingers moved toward her phone, ready to screenshot the visa page. Tumi would be thrilled. But as soon as the screen lit up, her eyes widened. 15 missed calls, all from Tumi. Oh no, she whispered, pressing call without thinking. The phone didn't even ring once. Neo! Tumi's voice shot through like a bullet. Where were you? I was about to call the embassy. Do you know what you've put me through? Neo didn't speak. Instead, she screamed into the phone, a scream full of joy. Tumi, he did it! He gave me my passport back and a 5-year visa! I'm legal here, Tumi! I can stay! She collapsed on the bed, holding the phone to her cheek as if she could feel her sister through the screen. Tumi was silent for half a second. Then she burst into tears and laughter all at once. You're lying! Neo, don't joke like this. Are you serious? A visa? Already? I'm holding it, Neo whispered, eyes brimming. Tumi, I'm holding it in my hands. There was a pause, a sound like breath breaking. I told you, Tumi whispered. I told you he was sent. I knew it. I prayed so hard, Neo. God heard me. Neo closed her eyes. Tumi, thank you. You're always praying for me. Tumi laughed through tears. Of course I am. If you ever left me completely, I'd lose my mind. Neo chuckled, wiping her eyes. You? I think you already did. 15 missed calls? You were supposed to update me, Tumi shot back. You're living in a drama and I'm here waiting like an audience with no episode. They both broke into laughter, the kind that leaves the body lighter afterward. So, Tumi continued, still sniffling, tell me, the best friend, Insu, is he single? Neo gasped. Tumi, I can't ask that. You didn't have to ask, Tumi replied smugly. You just had to notice. Neo shook her head. He's handsome, yes, but he's just Jiho's friend. Noted. But girl, 5 years? 5 whole years? I know, Neo breathed. It doesn't feel real. There was a moment of silence, quiet, but full of love. You deserve this, Neo, Tumi said softly. You've done everything for me. Since we were little, I've watched you give, and give. Neo swallowed. Her throat tightened. You're my little sister, she whispered. I never stopped trying to protect you. I know, Tumi replied. And now, it's my turn to cover you, even if it's just in prayer. Neo blinked away a tear, smiling. You already do every day. Tomorrow, Tumi said, voice lifting again, you better video call me before you dress up. I want to see that look, head to toe. I'm not playing. I promise. First thing,